Chris Williams, Brent Blum. From the Northwest Bank Studios, it's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
Welcome to the show, 21st of June, 2026, and happy Father's Day to all the Cyclone fathers out there hanging out with us on Cyclone Fanatic. My name is Chris Williams. I am joined today, as always, by Brent Blum, and plus we're going to throw Jake Brend into the mix. And this actually timed out pretty well because we told you that we went to Northwest Bank, our studio sponsor, a couple weeks ago and knocked out a couple of kind of evergreen podcasts that are fun. None of this is timely. We did this for when we were on some vacations and stuff. Bloom is heading up to the Black Hills right now, and we thought we would take Father's Day off to spend with our families. Hopefully you're doing that as well, and we want you guys to smile today. What we did, Jake Brend joins us. We're at Northwest Bank up in Ames. Our guy Doug's going to stop by, and we all go through our top 10 favorite Cyclone football players of all time. What does that mean? Well, it's probably different to everybody. We're going to have a fun conversation about it. I think you guys will really like it. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, as always, is Mechdyne. That is spelled Mechdyne, where they are constantly enabling discovery. Thanks to Mechdyne for being a longtime title sponsor of Williams and Blum podcast here on Cyclone Fanatic. We are going to run through a couple other of our great partners here, specifically the Iowa State University Foundation. You can go to movewhatmatters.com and give anywhere you want on campus, and we'll be telling you more about how the We Will Fund is included in that here going forward. Also, our friends at the Ivy College of Business, we have been promoting them for a really long time, and we love our friends at the Ivy College of Business, specifically the graduate program if you're looking to enhance what you bring to the workforce. I don't know a better way to put that, but that's what they do at the Ivy College of Business, the award-winning Ivy College of Business. All right, let's get at it. Let's get going on this top 10 favorite Cyclone football players of all time. Welcome to another On Location podcast here today at Cyclone Fanatic. We are in the Northwest Bank Studios.
Literally.
We're in the conference room at Northwest Bank on Duff Avenue in Ames. And I can see the old Hickory Park, Hunziker Real Estate right across from us.
Did you ever go to that Best Buy? Remember when Best?
Oh, yeah.
Best Buy a lot.
Into that Best Buy.
Wagner's Golf across the street.
Wagner's Golf, great spot. They actually have a strong social media game, the old Wagner's Golf. They're on the TikTok. Anyway, Rally House over there. Get some gear.
Thanks for giving everybody free advertising.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'm just looking at
Unbelievable.
I like looking at windows.
Let's restart.
So we've done our men's basketball, our 10 favorite. And now we're going to do it with football, which we found is a little more challenging. Not that we don't love them all. It's more difficult because they have helmets on.
Yeah.
You're not, you don't get the personalities as much. Frankly, it's a lot more difficult to, like with basketball, right after the game, they're up on the podium. With football, we have to.
They're in a corner.
Yeah, it's just
dark.
It's harder for fans to get to know the football guys. Having said that, there's clearly these Cyclone legends that we all have come to love over the years. And I think this list will be really fun because I venture that Jake is going to be pretty much exclusively the Matt Campbell era, where you and me will go back.
Well, and that's what dawned on me when I was going through this week. Gosh, there was a lot of good players over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It made it tough.
I mean, they're really, like you go, it was hard to compare, but how many which is extra complicated, I think, now this summer with the changing of regimes. But boy, there was so many fun memories with some of these guys to bring Iowa State football. And that's what dawned on me more than anything was I dreamed of moments that this group gave us fans as a kid. When I was growing up, see, we're the same age. Iowa State obviously didn't make a bowl game until year 2000 from 78 to I didn't see Iowa State play in a bowl game until I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about teams that went and won Fiesta Bowls and went to Big 12 championships. Like, it was fun for me to just kind of look back and and reference how that thing got built and what individuals were a big part of it too.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, this is just hard because, like, I think if you were just to ask the fan base, who's your favorite Cyclone? Brock
Purdy's going to be the
yeah,
edge.
and it makes total sense. Like, the quarterback, like, he's really flawless, right?
Yeah,
I mean, what? Like, try and pick the man apart. It's kind of impossible.
Couple reckless turnovers.
But that's what made him fun.
I agree.
You know,
with that.
like, that's what made Brett Favre fun to watch because he wasn't perfect. He wasn't the biggest. You know, he didn't look like John Elway, I guess. But these lists are all going to be very individual, which is we did a little bit of that with basketball. There was more crossover than I haven't seen your guys' list. I'm guessing there was more crossover in basketball than there will be in this one.
I would agree.
Okay. I had a really hard time finding like my favorite too. Like,
favorite. I always lean to the analytical side of I led with production more than because in football you didn't get to know the personalities as much. So really for me, it's a lot more production based.
Yeah.
But like a player that I struggled with to where to slot him, he's definitely in my top 10. But where is a great question I want to start with.
Okay.
Hakeem Butler. Because you're talking about an electric talent. As far as physical talent and woe moments, I don't know if there's been a better Iowa State football player in the last 25 years. Just woe moments.
He's the Deontay Burton of Iowa State football.
Oh, yes. Jake Brend.
There we go.
He's my fourth.
See,
I've got Butler. I've got, just a spoiler, he's my top receiver that I've got in my top 10.
And that was hard. Like, even how do you disseminate those receivers? There were so many over the last 15
Lazard
years.
was more productive.
He was.
Hutchinson was more productive.
He was.
Nolan Higgins won more.
They did.
But nobody could put their nuts on a guy's face and catch the ball better than Hakeem Butler, so he's number one.
His junior year, look at the numbers. 1,400 receiving yards. 13. It was unbelievable. It got to the point where it's like, Purdy and everything else, just throw it to 18.
And it probably hurt Purdy's sophomore year when he didn't have him.
Did.
Because he had the best safety valve in the country. Just, screw it. Hakeem's up there somewhere.
So I'm glad because I was like, dude, is he really top 5 for me? But entertainment level, favorite level, his junior year was unreal. I mean, the Oklahoma game, even in a loss, the Kansas game where he was literally just dunking on people just for fun. I mean, it was like entertainment level for Hakeem at that point.
The catch in the Alamo Bowl,
catch, the one against Akron, where he like flipped like the one against Oklahoma State when Purdy. Early Purdy, young Purdy.
Yeah, they still feel like they should have won that game.
Well,
they did.
They did. That was the Rock's first game when he came in as a
I'm
sub.
sorry. I was thinking about the home game.
The one in the end zone. I mean, Hakeem Butler had more wow moments than I think any Cyclone player maybe ever.
I can't argue. He's not in my top 10.
See that. Here you go. That's what I wanted to start with him.
I'm venturing that I'll probably have more McCarney-type guys in Rhodes than you guys will. So that's probably why it's just like trying to make room. But
who are your some? Let's go older first.
Older first. Okay, I'll go from oldest to youngest.
Natural that Williams goes first.
Yes,
I have Ellis Hobbs.
Okay,
on my list. I remember a play. This is the most obscure. They sucked that year too. It was 2003. Do you remember the hit he made on that kid from Ohio?
I do.
I thought he killed him. This was before like targeting. I do think he got like a personal foul.
I do
whatever. But Ellis Hobbs is a lot like Seneca to me, just at a different position.
Yeah.
Ellis Hobbs and so Seneca's on my list too.
Yep.
But they made Iowa State football seem cool.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Just like the swagger. Seneca, obviously, with what he was able to do in plays in which he was electric. But Ellis Hobbs was doing that on defense. Lockdown corner, played on some really good defenses, too, under John Scladani.
Did.
And he was just a cool dude who had a great NFL career.
Did.
On top of that, there for a long time, he was the only Cyclone we were watching. It was Sage, Seneca, and Ellis Hobbs, really.
Yep.
was the only exposure you had to the Cyclones on Sundays.
An interesting part with Ellis, and again, we kind of went from, we'll say Seneca on. We're not ignoring Troy Davis.
Yeah,
we're not
it's just a
ignoring
different conversation because it's a
70s.
different era.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to be disrespectful to those guys, but we went 2002 on. So I'm not even putting Sage in there. I'm saying Seneca on.
Yeah.
The thing with Hobbs, though, interestingly, he came in as a running back. A lot of people don't know that. So he was a running back out of
I had forgotten that,
DeSoto, Texas, and you were rocking play because you're behind Ennis Haywood. Mm-hmm. And so let's try you on special teams and let's play some defensive back, and just took off from there.
And Iowa State just didn't have a lot of guys back then where you just looked at him and go, oh, he's one of the best players on the field, right? Like, because especially when you were playing Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska was a dog back then,
Yeah.
Hobbs, even on those bad teams, you'd be
He stood out.
lucky to have that guy.
Yeah.
Geez.
And that's where some of those, like Seneca for me, man, for a while, he would be number one, I think, for some people, and I get it. Looking back now, though, didn't win as much as Purdy and Hall would have won. And so that was the hard part for me, is electricity wise, Seneca's 9-game run in 2022 from Florida State to Oklahoma might have been the best 9 weeks of my life. I'm not. It was unreal.
It was unbelievable.
Unreal.
And then that Oklahoma game happened.
And then the Oklahoma game happened. And then the boys, so there was, again, kind of shaded by that. But when Iowa State went, I mean, for you younger fans, I can't express enough how fun that was being 16, 17 years old at the time. When you've got Seneca Wallace, who's on MTV, doing true life Heisman contender Seneca Wallace, and they're following around campus this guy's the coolest human being I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. You had guys dressed up as gold-plated Heisman guys on TBS broadcasts with Craig Sager and Aaron Andrews and Ames. You had an Iowa State team that loses to Florida State and Bobby Bowden, but then reels off 7 in a row to get in the top 10, beats Nebraska. I'm telling you, from a pure joy standpoint, Seneca Wallace's run from August 2022 to that game on October 9th, 2022, as fun as I've ever had.
The run.
The run in there, too.
The most electric play in the history of Iowa State athletics.
It still is.
I don't know how
it can't be topped.
I don't think it can, especially with the lore of it.
You'd have to basically have something similar but win something of magnitude. But yeah, Seneca was hard for me because for a time he would have been, 1 or 2. But man, there's been so many good players since then.
Yeah. So you're okay with Hobbs?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah. I like Ellis. I like Ellis. I'm going to send this to Aiden. So Ellis came back last summer for our We Will football alumni reunion and got a picture with Ellis. So
what a dog.
I had class with him at the design building in 2004. I let him know that.
I have 2 other McCarney guys, and these are probably pretty easy for you guys. And by the way, Adam Carper is not eligible.
Good guy. Good guy, though, Carp.
Neither is Cale Brazino. Those are my 2 guys. It's I can't put either one of those guys on because those are my guys.
Yeah.
But I've got Meyer and Blythe, Todd Blythe and Brett Meyer. Again.
Roll Tribe.
I mean, come on.
Todd Blythe Sr. was my middle school football coach.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome guy. Awesome. He was my coach in 7th grade.
There's a couple of just sayings that live in the lore, right?
Yeah.
The run, Blarge, broken foot, Meyer to Blythe.
Meyer to Blythe.
Meyer to Blythe.
Yep.
It was its own brand.
Yeah.
What do you do? And
Legends
God
line.
bless Barney Cotton. I would have loved to had a different offensive coordinator in that era.
Man.
But and they mostly did it behind below average offensive lines.
Yeah.
Stevie Hicks, God rest his soul, I felt was a better running back than
He was never healthy.
Yeah. But Meyer to Blythe was such a dynamic. The Texas A&M game is you talk about one of my favorite Iowa State wins ever.
Totally agree.
Was that Texas A&M game where they go down there and just bludgeon them.
4 touchdowns for Blythe.
Oh,
200
my God.
yards. Yeah.
It really was a cheat code.
It was.
The fade into the end zone to Blythe, and they should have done it more. And they also helps that I know them so well.
Yeah, that's the cool part. It's like good dudes. I mean, that
Meyer grew up 30 minutes from me. We used to compete against each other all the time. He would win. But I love both. They did a podcast on CF for a while. We got to try and get that back.
That'd be awesome.
We got to try and get Meyer to Blythe back on the network.
Should we make a Legends line for those guys?
It's on the note.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want a Meyer to Blythe.
Yeah, that'd be
To
awesome.
create the whole brand. But like,
yes, you divide them in there too. It's like that was. And by the way, Brett Meyer's still the second leading passer in Iowa State history. Now Purdy passed him, but he statistically was there as well.
and he had the unfortunate the coaching change.
And absolutely.
when that went down wasn't ideal for him.
He won a lot of games, and then Brett was a winner. Now the coaching change was unfortunate, and it wasn't his fault. But the first 2 years of Chiswick was just really hard.
And those guys got caught in the Chiswick trying to build.
They did.
So you were kind of at the end, and it was like, well, and you had Arnaud, who
Our guy. I love Austin.
Yeah, we love Austin, former Cyclone Fanatic contributor as well. But he was kind of the hot shoe
Meyer
coming
got
in.
burned by that because
Yes.
it's like, okay, we want to show promise, so we're going to play the young guy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Where he was never Austin at that age,
wasn't
and he would
quite
tell you this, was not better than Brett Meyer at that time. So it ends on this sour.
Fair.
But those two dudes, and I remember the 2002 season that we all had to suffer through, where they go 2-10. 2003, excuse me. Yes, 2002. Half of it we suffered.
Yeah.
But I remember 2003. Just the whole talk was, man, you just wait till next year.
Yeah.
And McCarney would tell anyone who would listen, our best players are all on the scout team.
And it was
right
those
now.
two. It was
Those two dudes, and then the Northern Illinois game, Austin Flynn could be on my list too for what he did in his career and selflessly switching positions, sticking it out, being a leader in that group.
A lot like Joel Lanning in that context, which I wanted to talk about Joel Lanning.
Yep.
Burning hot
There we
right
go.
now. But yeah, those two dudes were electric. And you talk about a core, beat Iowa how many times? Talk about building this program up to get to the point where Matt Campbell could take it, and now Jimmy Rogers takes it over. Meyer to Blythe. The recruiting wins alone to get those guys in Ames, how Dan McCarney did it, those two are safely in my top 10.
I like that. Jake, where'd you put Joel Lanning?
9th.
Okay.
Yep. So he was firmly on the list, pretty much echoing everything that was said about Austin Flynn, a guy that he had an iconic moment at quarterback, beating Patrick Mahomes 66-10.
Absolutely.
But not a lot of memories at the quarterback spot until he selflessly switched to linebacker, was an All-American, which is
Unbelievable.
yeah,
Think about that.
He wasn't just a good linebacker. He was a good enough linebacker to be considered one of the 3 best in the country by media, by coaches. And he was, you look at why Iowa State is where they are now. It doesn't happen without John Haycock. And who knows if John Haycock's defense ever takes off without the leadership, without the production from Joel Lanning in his 1 year at linebacker. All-time guy.
Joel Lanning is my number 1.
Really?
He is.
Yeah.
He's my number 1 for a lot of the reasons that Jake said. But I think, too, the older you get, you appreciate longevity and adversity, right?
Fair.
I've come to the guys who aren't born on third. You know what I mean? And Lanning, you had to go through a lot, right? So you come in and the only reason Iowa State got him is because he wanted to play quarterback.
Everyone wanted him at linebacker to start with.
Nebraska was the leader there. We thought he was going there for a while.
And late, Joel was high end talent as far as recruiting wise.
Realistically, had he gone somewhere else and just been a linebacker from the start, he may have had a much longer. He had a little run in the NFL.
That's a conversation that could be had,
right? Mm-hmm. But he wanted to play quarterback, and it helped that Paul Rhodes is from Ankeny,
and he was the Ankeny. He was a legend at Ankeny, too.
Absolutely,
yeah. Multiple state championships.
I remember watching and scouting him play for those championships, and I will never forget. Matt Campbell and I had a joke at these Dallas meetings. Every year, I would tell him, like, you got to give me somebody. Like, who's the guy that's going to surprise me this year? And we would do this. It wasn't off the record, but it was, like, not on camera. And he told me that year, Joel Lanning's going to be an all-conference linebacker. And I'm like, you cocky son of a bitch. Like, you're
kidding. Yeah.
And, like, honestly, it was like, he's like, no, he's going to be all-conference. He's that good. And I was just like, this guy,
He
like,
sold him short.
At this point, we know Joel Lanning, right? He's been there.
Absolutely.
Like,
He's been there for 3 years. 4 years.
This isn't a thing that we are.
This isn't Breece Hall coming in like, hey, this kid's pretty good.
No,
we've seen Joel Lanning.
So I am, at this point, I don't really believe it. I'm kind of like, I'm kind of in shock at this moment. But then you watch it develop throughout the year, and then the ability to play two ways. It's so unique, and that's what I absolutely love about him. Is there's really no other player in the history of Iowa State that was a two-way guy. There's not There's a handful of guys who did that in the history of college football. We just saw one win the Heisman Trophy a couple years ago, right? And he does it in this, like, was Paul always said, the lunch pail, hard hat. He does it in such a way that it was, like, all about toughness. He's a huge part of that Oklahoma game.
Oh, massive.
One of the biggest wins in the history of Iowa State athletics, if not the biggest.
My favorite part was on that road trip. This is back when Twitter was twittering. They put Lanning in the cockpit and they took a photo for Cyclone Twitter and said Joel flew us home as well, which I thought was great. That was great. But
it is. And you talk about, like, foundations, right? When we did the basketball one, what Edgem was and what Lipsy was. Like, to me, Lanning not only did it for Rhodes, which was a successful era of Cyclone football, by the way. You can say whatever you want about how it ended. They filled the stadium, which was number one in building Iowa State football. Matt Campbell doesn't have, like, these facilities and stuff when he gets there. And Joel was a huge part of that. And then he's a bridge in the Campbell era.
Totally.
To take you to the 17 season is maybe the most important season in the history of Iowa State football. Yep. So to me, I had a hard time with a lot of the football guys and, like, what order do I put them in? I had a pretty clear number one for me, and it was Joel Lanning.
Yeah, because I think him and Lazard are similar in that context, where they're going to be relics of a time gone by, because either of those two, and both have, Alan said it to you publicly in a podcast. Mm-hmm. He said, if I could have transferred, I would have after Rhodes left. Think about that now. Think about Joel Lanning, what he went through. He gets here, wants to play quarterback, is kind of stuck a little bit behind Sam Richardson to start with. Then they give him a chance, and literally, you go back, he's probably the reason that Mangino ultimately got fired, because Mangino just refused to play Lanning. That's part of the deal. And then they put him in there. Iowa State goes on this great run with Lanning as a young guy, with Todd Sturr as the offensive coordinator. Then the unbelievable K-State game happens. That changed the entire trajectory of Iowa State football. Lanning is front and center. He played great, but then he's the one who, I think Mike Warren gets talked about, because Mike Warren didn't take the knee. But remember in that game, after that happened, K-State goes down and score. Iowa State gets the ball back. I think Lanning fumbled, if I remember right.
We just did this on the Beat Reporter, Spin the Wheel.
Lanning fumbles, and then they kick a field. Like, he's right in the middle of that.
And then he throws a pick.
So he dealt with all sorts of crap. Nobody in this modern era stays and sticks it out. Not only that, the next year, he's supposed to be the guy. Iowa State loses to you and I in the first game. I'm going, what in the world? Then Jacob Park comes along. And we do this weird tag team thing for a little bit that was totally bizarre.
Where's he at in your top 10?
Park
didn't make the cut.
It gets better. Park beats out Lanning. And for the start of the 17th season, Park loses whatever happened to Jacob Park, which we don't need to get into today. But it wasn't Lanning that's become, he's already the linebacker. Kyle Kemp takes over. And so you've got this guy that literally kind of was the entire embodiment of the Cyclone experience of, you dealt with a lot of crap, but you came out better for it on the other side, and that was that Liberty Bowl win and what he meant. I agree. Joel Lanning's in my top 4 for sure.
We had that Liberty Bowl T-shirt too. That our linebacker throws better than your quarterback. One of our best-selling shirts that we've ever done.
I think the world.
You're scooting off the camera.
I'm sorry, I'm getting really excited about Joel Lanning. Yeah. But no, I just
you start talking Ellis Hobbs and Joel Lanning, and we get all sorts of fired up.
That guy, he just. You're not going to have that these days because if you run into any type of drama, generally you're out. You're on the first bus out of town.
All right, we'll be back to the show here in just a couple of minutes. But before we do so, I want to thank our friends over at Newport Electrical Services. Nick is the man. One of my buddies who is now doing some advertising with us, and we're hoping to keep him busy. Everybody's got electrical stuff, commercial, residential. He's got a whole honey-do list that my wife has for him here at the Williams household. Nick's a great guy, young Cyclone fan who's getting his business up and running. Newport Electrical Services. I've had many people email me and say, Williams, who's your electrician? That's the guy. Same with pest control. We got you covered there. Preferred Pest Control. They are located in Urbandale, but they serve everywhere in central Iowa. I got a little bit of a wasp problem developing in my garage. Going to be calling those guys this week to knock that out. So there you go. Preferred Pest Control. Awesome guys. Andy and his team. Diehard Cyclones and looking to serve everyone here in central Iowa. Last but certainly not least, Andrew Chaplin. He is main man Chappie, what we call him. Chappie's the man, and he is a longtime friend. I've known him all the way since college, but now a realtor through Hunziker. Looking forward to see him a little bit later on the golf course this week, but I love Chappie. If you are a need of real estate agent in any way, shape, or form, Chappie is your man at Hunziker. All right, back more right after this here on Cyclone Fanatic. All right, so I think well, wait a minute. I have a couple other Paul Rhodes guys.
I still have like 8 names that I haven't gotten to.
Do you have any of these older guys?
I've got AJ Klein.
So he's on my list too. So we can both knock him off the list. Yeah, absolutely.
I had to pick a Rhodes guy. I kind of think this could be AJ Klein / Jake Knott.
Yeah, it was that combo.
I think for me, Klein's NFL career is probably what makes him more memorable in my eyes. But those guys plus Jeremiah George on those Rhodes defenses, I mean, they're a part of the best win in school history up until 2017 against Oklahoma State.
Yep.
I love AJ Klein, the iconic long hair, the number 47.
In the 4 defensive touchdowns for AJ Klein.
Oh,
which is crazy.
Great
Unbelievable player. A guy that I would have loved to see play 20 years at Iowa State.
I have not on my list too, because they're a little bit like Homan and Vroman.
Very
to me.
similar. Yep.
You know, like they are forever
not inclined.
interconnected.
Klein and not.
And you also think too, it's like, you know, at that era, the offense wasn't great, you know, and you're hoping for defensive touchdowns. And I would add on Jake Knott, played through a ton of injuries.
Yeah.
You know,
he's a what if player.
He's a little bit of a Bo Freeler type.
Bet on.
Like, I think I wouldn't fault anybody for putting Bo.
That's another name. I didn't put him in, but Bo.
I thought about it.
Wow. Great point.
Yeah.
Think the world of him.
So not inclined to me were real pillars. I think, again, these lists will be really interesting because as we continue to develop this conversation, because I look at like the foundation of it.
Yep.
Probably more than Jake does. And those two guys, I remember this is fun, but we were at the Walmart here in town.
Free advertising.
I knew, I'd like to get an advertising check from them. I knew them. This is back when I covered recruiting. And I bumped into the Knotts and Kleins at Walmart when they were moving in that day, because this is back when I lived in Ames. And AJ's dad is since passed on. He was a great guy. I remember those boys moving into their dorm room and like, oh my gosh, they were so freaking talented. And you're right, with Jeremiah George behind him, I wouldn't fault anybody for putting him on their list. Just really special memories. From
and shout out to Wally Burnham in the middle of those defenses. I mean, old man Wally. They had some years there where that was must watch defense.
The difference too in Cyclone football then compared to now, and we'll see what it is like going forward. But it would be like if you had one injury, you were screwed. Do you remember those days
Absolutely.
on that defense? It's
Oh,
like
my gosh.
knots out today.
And
we have no chance.
You're going to give up 50.
Yeah.
And that was in the heat of the Big 12 offenses, too.
Yeah, that was, you're right, air raid era.
Oh, my
How
gosh.
often, not just at Iowa State, but across all levels of football, do you have your two best players at the same position? You could argue three best players with George in there. Like it probably doesn't happen that often. Maybe the 24 Campbell team with Higgins and Knoll.
With Knoll, and I'd say that's the comp. Yeah.
But Dom Orange, Darian Porter,
Butler and Lazard.
Butler and Lazard. That 17, yeah.
but Montgomery was on that team. Like, so
Good point.
Marcel Spears, Joel Lanning was an All-American.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about if you could have replicated that talent in the linebacker room across the entire
let's
team.
spread it out a little
Yeah,
bit.
and then I think one guy who was on those teams, and it's hard to really judge these guys when I'm throwing them in there, is Osemele.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I mean,
it's hard with
hard
linemen.
line. It is. But that
Yeah.
guy, I mean, arguably he has, until Brock, made the most money of any Cyclone in the NFL, until Brock.
So
Yeah.
if we want to move into the
He was
Campbell
a
era,
cool dude, too, Kalechi.
Yeah,
if you ever
great
got
dude. Hall of Famer.
if we want to move into the Campbell era and we talk about pillars and guys who are selfless and kind of did the full college experience, for me at number 8, it's Jalen Knoll.
Yeah, I love Jay.
He's on my list. He's on my list.
It's surprising that he didn't leave after his sophomore year. That 22 season was a disaster. Everybody on the offense has blame for it. And Knoll is someone who had blame for it too. He dropped a wide open pass that would have won the Oklahoma State game. That team was 6 plays away from going 8-4, 9-3. And Knoll was not as good that year as he should have been. After all the promise that he showed as a freshman, he sticks it out. He was a guy that, like Curtis Jones, a lot of people gave up on. Me included.
I saw it on the message boards, everybody.
Me included. And by the end of his time as a Cyclone, he is one of the all-time fan favorites, the infectious personality, the consistent production. Higgins was always flashier, always had the better catches, but Knoll was just as good of a receiver, and he's rightfully in the record books.
Wasn't Knoll's statement to that bowl game?
Yeah.
They're just going there.
Yeah, because he played and nobody else really did.
And
he
now
was
He
he's
had
still in the NFL.
How many yards did he have that day? I mean,
It was like 140. It wasn't as much as I thought because we did one of the CF After Dark drafts a couple weeks ago, and I picked that game.
so good.
But yeah, he was incredible that day.
I kind of, because those two, I kind of put Higgins and Knoll as the same. I've cheated here because it's my podcast, dang it.
You can do whatever you want.
But those two meant so much to me personally too. I mean, they're in the middle of the NIL era, all right, and literally, guys, Jaden Higgins came here for zero money. Think about that. That doesn't seem that long ago.
Wasn't.
Zero money, none, and then obviously gets here.
He wanted the scholarship and to play up.
He wanted to play up. He
Yeah.
wanted to prove that he's a Big 12 player because he says in his mind, I'm an NFL guy. I'm like, okay.
Which,
okay,
for what
Jake.
it's worth to tie it now, it's a lot of guys on this roster now did the
Dead
same
on,
thing.
and that's why
Yeah.
I'm really optimistic about this year is because
Yeah.
you got some guys who want to prove everybody, and he did. He got here and he just worked and he worked and he worked. But he and Jalen became really good buddies, and the fact that they're still together in Houston makes me so
Incredible.
happy. And then just personally for me, both those guys turned out monster offers because they loved it in Ames, and they still do. I just they're still active. Jaden and Jalen came back to a game last year, and they, not to make this about me, but they said, hey, we don't really want to do any of the song and dance stuff, as far as doing, but we want to go say hi to you and your wife because you meant a lot. It was like they came to our tailgate for an hour just to.
Yeah, they're good.
Like
dudes.
they're just good people, and I agree with you, Jake. What Jalen went through, lesser people leave. But both those guys had to prove it and did, and now they're having success, and I couldn't be more happy for them. So they're definitely on my list.
Well, I remember the Ohio game. He was out as the sickness was going around the locker room.
Noel was, yeah.
And we were in the wide right group chat, and I think I might have even made
to be
the
a
comment.
fly on that wall.
I might have even made the comment. It was something after the game, which total meltdown mode. And someone said, well, we didn't have Jalen Knoll. And I think I might have said, well, so what? Because that's what he was at that point.
Yeah.
And not even a month later, he was clearly
The next
a
week.
valuable player. The Oklahoma State
State
game
game.
caught a lot of
Lot of
passes.
passes.
And
You got it.
I think that's probably his legacy there is me, a lot of the fan base had given up on him and the entire offense as a whole that Ohio game.
And a good example of these players change, they get better, and to not give up on them. And I think that was a good lesson for both those guys. Said, I believe in myself more than somebody else does. I'm going to show you, and look at them now. And it's a really, really cool deal.
Yeah. So I had him 8th on my list.
Yeah, he's in my chunk.
What about, here's another one for you, David Montgomery.
He's in my chunk.
Okay.
Yep, he's right
2 for me.
Like, from a pure stability, thrill, he comes on the scene and it's like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what Iowa State football needs. And I struggle. I think I had him at 3. But David, to this day, infectious personality everywhere he went. Iowa State football is not what it became without David Montgomery. Chuck Bruce. Chuck Bruce.
You also you forget how many tough yards he was getting.
Oh my gosh.
Because the line wasn't very good.
He had nothing up front.
He was averaging 4 yards a carry, but it was pretty much 9.
Yeah.
Because he'd get hit 5 yards in the backfield every single time.
Only the real OGs get that. If you remember, that was the conversation then. If you're a casual fan, it probably. But
yes, his numbers weren't
their lines
eye-popping, but he ran so hard.
We discovered this doing one of the CF After Dark drafts a couple weeks ago. What we were doing, we were drafting individual performances. So, for example, Todd Blythe, 05 against Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. And so you add up your total yards and whatever, and you win. And I took Montgomery, and we were looking at the game logs after. It's like his career high was only 160, but he was always, his last 2 seasons, pretty much every single game, 100 yards or better.
Yep.
He was Mr. Consistent. 100. He was always 100 to 160 yards, and he made it look fun. His run against Oklahoma State, where he did the high step, where he trucked Josie Jewell in the Cyhawk game.
I still remember that. Yep.
He has so many iconic performances, punching a Baylor player.
See the malice in the jack or whatever they called it. Yeah.
God, that game.
Montgomery's 2 for me. Even though Breece Hall's better.
See, that's
he
where
was better at college.
Yeah,
he's better in the pros.
But
Montgomery's more important.
Yeah, Montgomery resonated more. It felt like in Breece, we also get the 21 season, which leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
But I'm going to go on a limb. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I think last 20 years, not just the most impactful player that's not going to get talked about enough is Breece Hall. I think he's number 1 for me.
He's the best Iowa State football player of all time, in my opinion.
I don't disagree with that.
I struggle because I'm still Troy Davis is.
Yeah.
But look at Breece's go back, everybody. Go back and look at Breece's numbers. Ran them this morning. How about this? 50 touchdowns. 4,000 career yards. Had a touchdown in 24 straight games.
That's incredible.
2020.
That'll never happen again.
2020 season, which was the COVID year, got wonky. I don't think people realize this. Do you guys? I didn't realize this. He led the nation in rushing that year.
Yeah.
He finished 3rd to Doak Walker. He got hosed in that category, by the way. But his numbers, completely asinine relative to anybody else. He had more career yards per carry than Troy Davis did. And he did it on a winning team. And he always delivered. And he did it, and he made it look way too easy, which is why I think the comparison to Montgomery is interesting. David ran violently hard, where Breece was like a ballet, he was
a Lamborghini.
Yeah, exactly. But he made so many tough yards as well. It's interesting you agree with me there, Jake. I think from a pure talent level, Breece Hall is the most talented football player to ever play at Iowa State.
His best quality, or maybe most underrated quality, he was a game ender. And it didn't matter.
Knockout punch.
It didn't matter what point of the game.
Yeah.
The 2021 game at K-State, he ended that game on the first play of the game. Yep. 75 yards up the middle. The Texas game that year, when that was a dogfight. People forget it. It was the game where we were all chanting SEC in the crowd to the Texas fans.
Yeah, that was
they weren't very good. And it was the game where the D-line coach had the video leak in the bus. That game was like 7-3 at halftime. And Breece Hall took over in the second half and had one of the best runs of his career. He did that so many times where he ended the game himself, and he was so good. And it's a shame he tore his ACL in the NFL, because if he didn't, we're probably talking about him as a top 3
maybe
to
an
5
MVP.
running back in the league.
Buried at the Jets too. It's just like it's so hard to.
But he's one of those players. He was only here for 3 years, which is kind of easy to forget too. But holy smokes! I mean, from his first carry against West Virginia as a freshman, actually it wasn't his first carry, but that was his breakout game. To it was every single week to set the NCAA record for most consecutive games with a touchdown by. I mean, that is insane. And, but also I get it, C-Dub. That 21 season still could have been is a disappointment in some ways.
I mean, a lot of people, that's what they remember.
But it wasn't because of him.
No, God, no. And they also had a lot of bad luck that year
They did
too.
have some bad luck. The Tech game where the guy kicked a 90.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that
the West Virginia game, and
Breece Hall was not the reason why they underachieved. Can we? I have 2 other, and Will McDonald's on my list.
Yeah, and I struggled with Will where to put him.
He's my highest defensive player.
Well, I just love defensive linemen. It's I love watching the D line and everything to go with it. And you just talk about a guy who's just. I mean, you've seen it ever since he's been gone. Iowa State hasn't been able to replace it.
Yeah,
you can't replace that guy.
He covered up so much. Not that there was a lot of talent in the defenses that he was on, but he made a lot of those players be able to showcase their talent in easier ways, because he demanded a double team, and that wasn't even enough. Sometimes you needed to send 3 guys at him. And he was electric. When you knew that he was getting around the edge, he'd get held first, and then he'd throw the guy off.
How many times did he get held and not called over the years?
Oh, is the famous
probably the most in college football history.
It's famous John Walters line when I was in the booth for most of those Will McDonald years, and he said, "Will McDonald gets held more than my daughter holds her cell phone."
Good line.
Way to go, John. No, I mean he was the Hakeem Butler of the defense for me. Just amazing talent, just pure talent everywhere he went, and his story was great too. I mean, that's the other thing. It was a really powerful story. We got to know Will. He was one of the first NIL guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just a genuinely kind-hearted soul. Didn't talk a lot, but just
reminds me personality-wise a little bit of David Montgomery.
Yeah, just a leader, and he's
David's a little goofier, but they were both pretty.
That's true. Will was a goofy guy. Yeah,
Will
he grinded,
man, and he was selfless.
Yep,
just a really selfless dude. I mean, I remember. What was the story? He wanted to have the draft party at Campbell's house or whatever. He could have had it anywhere, done anything. He wanted to do it in Ames. And a guy who came from nothing, another thing
literally nothing,
reminds me of David, very similar as far as that goes. And they are so grateful to this place for what it was. They gave a lot, but they are grateful for what it gave back.
Yep. And then Will, just a great. I'm so glad he's having success, because it wasn't easy for him when he got to the NFL either.
No,
there were a lot of people who doubted him early. Now he's been great.
The first round pick for Iowa State in 50 years.
Thank God.
Ends the streak too.
That adds to his legacy as well.
God.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah,
that 22 seat. Yeah, it's a shame that defense will be wasted. If that team reached their potential, that's maybe thought of as the best single unit in Iowa State football history, with how dominant that defense was.
Yeah.
The fact that they were even in some of those games with the offensive performances is unbelievable.
The crazy part is, I was just thinking about that too, Jake. The 21 offense would be right there on the other end.
Yeah.
But the defense let them down that year. Mm-hmm. It was the opposite the next year, which is, it's weird that happened in back-to-back years.
Throw those units together. How does that team lose a game?
I don't know. But that's... And so we haven't mentioned, but I mean, is Brock Purdy number 1?
Yeah, he's 1.
I mean, well, you had Landon at 1.
I have Landon at 1. But Brock Purdy.
Brock's in there for sure.
Because he has everything.
He's literally
He was the first quarterback of my life. It was the first time I ever felt like, you know what? Iowa State has a quarterback that you trust. And
That's a great point.
Did you?
My earliest memories were Arnaud.
Yeah.
So he's kind of exempt because I don't remember Arnaud's freshman year.
It's just funny because you say trust, and that's not what I would use with Brock Purdy.
But he was reliable. Well, but he was there.
I knew he was going to start the next game.
Yeah, so
I never in my life knew.
You want a stat?
I never knew the next starting quarterback. It's like, oh, well, Grant Rohach didn't have it today. Is it going to be Sam?
It's one of my favorite stats, because I this was back when I was in prime column writing season.
Yeah.
Before kids got in that anyway. So when Brock started his first game. So remember, he came in the Oklahoma State game.
West Virginia.
It was the West Virginia game. He then started 48 consecutive games at Iowa State, I think was the number. Prior to that, Iowa State changed starting quarterbacks once every 5.8 games.
That seems high.
From Arnaud all the way to Purdy.
That's insane.
Arnaud to Zeb Nolan.
10-year stretch where Iowa State changed quarterbacks once every 5.8 games.
That's insane.
And then Brock started 48 games in a row.
Yeah, and then, he was charismatic.
He was.
Right?
In his own way.
He was an elite leader. He had this amazing family that was very visible.
They were.
And they're always
Yep.
They're always around. And to me, what made him so charming was the imperfection in which he played.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I think I commented him before, either earlier in the show or in the basketball one. But like, that's what made Favre lovable to those Packer fans. It was that we're blue collar, we play in the outdoors, our quarterback's undersized and he scrambles around. Like Purdy doing the unconventional thing and constantly being bit for it. But then coming back and just being able to forget about it. Like he got benched against Iowa.
He did.
He
did.
I love that about him. It made him more endearing to me to watch him bounce back. And now he is one of the most prolific players in the National Football League for one of the most historic franchises.
It's not like his best football came mostly at the end. His most iconic plays were in the first 10 times he touched the ball.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that speaks to his fearlessness. The throw against West Virginia to Deshaunte Jones, threading the needle from 50 yards. The scrambling that we didn't see as much of as he grew older, but
the pump fake.
The Purdy pump. He is, he will probably be the most iconic Iowa State football player in the same sense of Halliburton, of what he's doing since. But unlike Halliburton, he was always the guy when he was on the team. And that's what you get with being the quarterback. He was always productive. Yes, he had some lows. I would have liked that Oklahoma State game back in 2019. Would have liked the
4 picks. Yeah.
Would have liked the 21 game against Iowa back.
Yep.
There's a lot of plays that
I still swear they would have won that game without the weather delay. They were kicking their ass.
Well, no, you're thinking 19.
Whatever. They
would have won. Absolutely, they would have won that game without.
And then his last game ever was against Clemson down in Orlando, and he had that unbelievably bizarre
Steel Jant's drop.
It was just,
and I interviewed him.
It was an experience now.
I interviewed him shortly after that game as he was doing draft prep, and it was a little somber.
Yeah, I remember that podcast.
Yeah,
he had nothing.
Dude,
there wasn't a lot there.
We didn't think he was going to get drafted.
He didn't think he was getting drafted.
He almost didn't.
Well, he literally almost didn't get drafted.
But I remember talking to him before we started, and it was just it wasn't a great vibe.
No.
Because it went from really high to pretty low, and you were like, man, should I have gone pro last year?
Yep.
The team brought back every starter but Dylan Sainer, I think.
Yeah.
And they won the Fiesta Bowl. You could have argued they should have won the Big 12 championship, and they brought all that back, and they went 7-6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's all a part of the legacy, but to your point, Williams, it's everything about Purdy. It doesn't matter what anybody else said about him. He was our guy.
Yeah. Do you remember the TCU game, that ridiculous?
Yeah. Guess what? They won that game.
They won the game.
But that's why we loved him.
Exactly.
And honestly, as I get older, I appreciate, like we've talked about before, those players who, man, it wasn't always a piece of cake. That guy dealt with some crap.
Yeah.
There were internal conversations about putting Hunter Deckers in for Brock Purdy that year. Swear to you.
Oh, I know.
It was not just the fans, but he stuck it out, and honestly, it's the journey of being a college football fan, being a college athletics fan. It's not listen, you're an Iowa State fan. Holy crap, it's not easy. But that's why you appreciate people like Purdy a lot more. Is, man, he dealt with a lot of stuff, and he came out better for it, and I think that's pretty powerful.
Anything else to add? Did we miss anybody?
We don't need to talk too much about him, but I had Mike Rose in my top 10 as well.
Yeah.
Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year.
Forget that.
Hard to argue that.
Very similar to Jake Knott in the sense that he was not the same player at the end as he was at the start because he played through
Beat the shit out of himself.
Yeah, played through shoulder injuries nonstop.
Again, Freeler, I would just throw into the same.
Yeah, and Charlie Kohler for me. I mean, that guy was an academic All-American. He won literally the best student
elitist
athlete.
Blum bringing academics.
Well, I mean, he was a 4.0 engineer while being an All-American tight end. I mean, pretty crazy.
There's a reason we're podcasting at a bank and not working at a bank.
Charlie can do whatever he wants.
He also ate spaghetti with his hands.
So
that knocked him out of the top 10 for me.
Good and great. Talk about great personalities.
Yeah, just a wonderful.
Charlie's
young guy.
Married a nice woman from my hometown.
Oh, an Indianola girl,
yeah.
huh? Man, everybody's from Indianola.
Congrats to the Kohlers. So.
Yeah, and I think the best thing for me reviewing this list is, that got sideways there with how the Campbell regime era ended / and it's going to be weird this year. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be really strange.
I honestly,
watching a Penn
did
State
anybody have a hard time with the Rocco conversation?
I didn't put him in here, but
he's right there.
He's
for
right
me.
there for me too. But also,
he's right there for me. If he plays this year here, he's a no-brainer top 5.
No doubt.
What was nice for me going through this is, it was healing in a way. Man, there was a lot of good times though throughout that.
It is, and it's also like the importance to me and the great responsibility that the Rodgers era has to keep it going.
You got it.
Even if this year it's like, I don't expect them to go out and win 10 games, but man, if they can go even like 5 and 7 and just give you, oh man, these guys can coach. You got some young talent. Like, just keep that moving, and I think we're going to be just fine.
And I guess with all the crap in college athletics, it was nice to go back and say, man, it's been fun though too.
Absolutely.
Like, think about all those. We just talked about all those great memories of this is why we do it. Even though Iowa State's never won a championship, but think about the memories that Montgomery and a Lanning and a Purdy and a Seneca and a Brett Meyer gave us over the years. College football can be really fun. With all the crap, it still is fun.
And Rocco will have it's going to take a year or two. It'll probably take him being done at Penn State, in my opinion, for at least me, and I think a majority of the fans.
I agree. Same with Milan.
Yeah, and I think you look back in 5 years, and I didn't put them in my top 10, mostly because my criteria was they're eligible, but if you're going to be in it, it has to be really tough to beat out a guy who played their last college snap or game as a Cyclone, and those guys didn't, but they're absolutely in my top 15, even if they didn't beat out Melvin Edgum or AJ Klein or Joel Lanning.
Yeah, it's been a lot fun last 20 years, and now you hope, as we're getting older, Jake, you'll be us someday here in 15 years. What's the next 20 going to be like? And I think that's the fun part about college athletics is it's always going forward.
It's always going forward, baby. Well, this was fun. Thanks to Northwest Bank for hosting us for
this was awesome.
This little quick little summer series. I don't know what we're going to call it, but this was fun to do this and go down memory lane. All right, there you have it. Williams and Blum with a little splash of Jake Brend as we are going through our top 10 favorite football players of all time in a Cyclone uniform. Now, we're also going to do basketball. That's coming up. Basketball 1 is coming up, so get used to that. Look forward to that one as well. That one's very spirited, as you can imagine. It feels like we know the basketball players a little more because they're not like behind helmets and all that stuff. Looking forward to that conversation on a future Williams and Blum. Thanks to Mechdyne. Thanks to Northwest Bank for letting us hang out, and we'll be back on Wednesday here. More Cyclone Fanatic. Later.